Hello everybody, Crab here, and today we're going to be making a turbo motor factory on these two pillars. You may be asking why these two right here, and the answer is, I want to steal somebody's idea. I am serious about mildly stealing somebody's idea. I was watching a video by Scully NYC earlier, and they had this cool architectural design and basically like desert concrete, and I haven't done that before, so we're gonna put it on these two pillars, mess around, and try some new things, and then I'll probably hate myself because it'll look terrible. Let us begin. So, I did a little bit. It's not actually as much as it looks like. I was just trying to get general ideas in. Like I said, I've never really done something like this before, so I got in a groove and just went with it. We're gonna kind of have this weird ovular shape, and we're gonna have tiered sections as usual. I usually do tiered sections in my multi-story factories. We are making turbo motors in this factory, but my cooling systems from turbo motors are coming from my cooling system factory, which is sitting right down here. So I'll be bringing cooling systems and bauxite from this train station right here and bring it all the way over to this factory, and all of the resources are over in this area. So oil, petroleum, coke, iron, copper, quartz. Quartz is going to be coming from way down in the cave down there. I'm just going to run along the train line and bring it up. But all those basic things will be brought over and then kind of refined in here. Since I will be bringing rubber over, this area will be rubber, and then I'll have petroleum coke sitting right here. I'm going to have copper and iron in this general area. We're going to have these two foundries being our steel. And then this kind of finishes the base production area. I do need to make quartz crystals, which I'll probably put on this side. And then I also need to make some more like basic things in constructors, like iron plates and steel pipes, which might go back here if they fit. If not, then they'll come up to the second floor. I have no idea how I'm going to be messing around with shapes or anything like that. I don't know if this first floor will be bigger than the top floor. I don't know if this second floor will be longer and go out more and make some cool, interesting layers. But I know that this factory is going to have at least 3 different floors, and I would like to change how each of them look in some way. And ta-da, we have 2 more floors in. Again, more general, just blocking out of where things are gonna go. I am doing this interesting-ish thing right here, where I'm kind of making like a balcony to see down onto this first floor, even though we're on the second floor, because these refinery, smokestack things are pretty goddamn tall and very annoying to deal with. Now, this section right here is our wire and cable. By the way, I did end up putting the quartz crystals, the iron plates, and steel pipes back here. So these basic things all fit in constructors, all fit here perfectly in this circular shape, which is oh so fun. Would it be a half circle? I mean, it is a circle, but only half of it, but it is a circular shape. I don't know how the English language works all too well, but it's fine. This corner at the end here is for our aluminum things. So I need to make 64 aluminum casings because I'm making radio control units that'll then go into the turbo motors. So that little setup is all right here. We're dealing with a lot of little annoying decimals when it comes to the water and aluminum solution, but in the end, we make 64 aluminum casings to shove upstairs. All things assembler related are going to be here on the third half floor. The reason I'm calling it a half floor is because manufacturers are going to go on this top floor. Not exactly sure how, but I want to do something interesting with like the architecture of this. So this bottom floor will be a full walled in section. If that makes sense, there will be walls going for up and down this whole thing. And then right here, my thought is we can go like this, have a bit of a diagonal, and then we can diagonal up and leave this whole section where the aluminum is to be open to the air. So we'll kind of have like a base floor and then a half floor and then maybe another half floor and then a full floor on top for the manufacturers. Not sure yet, but I want to have this big open like gap going through the middle right here. So there'll be no windows here, no walls. It'll all just be open to see this beautiful view. Oh my god, it's a flying thing. What are those called? I don't actually know. They're very pretty with my terrible visuals, though. I just realized I don't have global illumination on. Hold up. Let's fix that. Haha, everything's better and darker. Oh, I do love having an okay computer. It hates me all the time. Anyways, the only assembler things that are being made down on this first floor are the reinforced iron plates, because it takes wire and iron plates. Iron plates are being made down there, and wire is being made right here. So I was just like, I'll put it here. It fits in this nice little corner area. This top floor, assemblers, motors, rotors, stators, circuit boards, all that's being made here. I have to figure out where to put manufacturers now. I either get to put them right here, or on a full top floor, or maybe a half top floor. I don't know yet. We're gonna figure it out though. So, I very much like what I have going on right here. This is looking interesting and beautiful, and I love it. This gap in the middle, like I said, will be aired space, so it'll look real nice. I guess I didn't put this on this side yet, but if we just, so you get kind of a general idea of the shape, we're gonna have like this open bit, and then it's gonna like point into this sharp bit. I don't know how to explain it. You'll just have to see when I build it, but this is gonna look awesome, and the angles are all gonna line up together and look real pretty. At this top floor, we have all the rest of the manufacturing. So we have the manufacturers for radio control units, crystal oscillators, and then of course the turbo motors. These two right here are making computers. We're using an alternate recipe that uses crystal oscillators and circuit boards instead of the normal one, which uses plastic and whatnot, and I just didn't want to deal with this, and I'm already making crystal oscillators. So the real reason, I've never used this alternate recipe, and I was like, might as well use it in something, so I'll use it here. But this floor will be quite interesting because we're gonna have a big window right here, and then this will be the roof. So I don't know if I want to be able to walk out onto it to look over the rest of my stuff, or if I want to just have it like cut off, have like a nice big window here and leave it alone. But I'm still trying to figure out how to get in between each floor. I think I'm going to be using hypertubes, which is funny because I have not placed a hypertube in this world yet. We're 200 hours in and I still haven't done it. Another fun thing is going to be dealing with lighting. I am going to try and keep things very, very simple for this build, and I mean extremely simple. Probably the most I'll do is shove some lights, and by lights I mean signs, in the ceiling, and that is it. I won't do anything fancy. I won't try and over detail the machines like I did with my aluminum factory. I'm just gonna keep stuff simple, keep things brutalistic-ish. Now that I have used the most basic of English words to try and explain things I don't fully understand, we're now going to start building it. Oh, fun. So, I did say brutalistic, which means a lot of concrete, a lot of hard shapes, which means lines like these, hard angles, stuff like that. So I wanted to build out a base, something for this whole building to sit on that isn't just these two pillars, something that it can sit on that makes sense. So what we're going to do is with these lines, we're going to probably take them either all the way around the full structure, or bring them out to like here and then diagonal it up and make this end thinner, because again, we're trying to deal with shapes, contrast, make things look different, kind of a bunch of weird angles. That's the whole point of this build. Of course, I'm working with circles, so things are going to be a whole lot harder to do. Now, to make these lines yourself, if you're at all interested, it is very simple. Just take your half foundations. Basically, what I did is I just brought them up a certain amount, so 3 meters, and then I used 7 meters of half foundations and then 2 meters on top. And then I grabbed myself these 1 meter half foundations and just indented them a little bit and then deleted all the ones in the middle. And boom, bada bing, we have these lines. It looks kind of bad when you flash a light on it, but when you darken it, it looks real nice, and when you put it all together, it looks even better. I'm tempted to put lights in them, and then I was untempted to do that when I realized it would look stupid and dumb, and so I'm not gonna do it anymore. Now we have to figure out this whole rest of the build. So I've started to think about contrast, or whatever art terms you want to talk about. The lines have now been extended, and they go up at this angle here. I don't know how I feel about it. The thing that I do like is that, as you can see, I have fully put in these angle shape bits up here. They are now filled in. They are placed. These are where I'm putting them. They're staying like that. So having this angle go up and connect right here means I can add a pillar in and kind of have this bottom support layer go up and, in my brain, hold the rest of the building up with these like connected bits. It'll look like the whole building is connected and has a nice structural line leading through the whole place instead of just having it kind of sit on itself. Now, with this open air gap right here, which looks even better now, I wanted to have another open air gap down here where these refineries are. Main reason being, I kind of have this open per a floor thing. So if we look, we have this first floor. If we have it open here, we have air gaps, then we have our kind of wall. Then we have air gaps, and then we have this wall for this section. Then we have a big air gap up there, and we have wall. So it kind of goes back and forth and switches which side it's going to be on. And so I'm hoping when I put walls and windows and whatnot in, it kind of adds this nice... The best way I can describe it is feeling. I am in no way an art student, and I know nothing about artist terms, but in my head I think, opposite, look nice, we do it. Like, just monkey brain explanations is what I tell myself. And then on the inside, I wanted to add some structural support to make everything look better. So in the middle, through the whole build, connecting through this big rock pillar that shines up through everything, I'm having this middle concrete line. Now, the other reason for this is it gives me a nice area to do belts and center points. So the way we're gonna go in between each floor is hypertubes at the middle right here. A hypertube going up, and then a hypertube going up, blah, blah, blah. Then, on the sides, we're gonna have belts going in between each floor, like here, transporting resources. So if I have my, let's say, copper ingots, which need to go up, they'd go around and up to this sidewall, and then they'd take a belt up to here, and then they'd go around to the 2 wire sections that they need to go to. And then that wire, if it needs to go up to make, you know, our stators, which is somewhere over here, it comes up next to the wall right here, and then we can belt it over to where it needs to go. And also, I just like big concrete things sitting in the middle of my builds. I like large walls, and with the brutalist structure, I felt like having this space be too hollow would feel wrong. So even though we do have this big rock, well, this big rock pillar sitting in the middle of our build, having something that stuck out to the rest of this area where this pillar ends up stopping, I feel like just makes structural sense, at least in my head. You know, anybody who's never seen my channel before and has come to learn how to make turbo motors, I'm sorry to say, the only thing you're gonna learn is how to say things incorrectly and build some concrete. I can honestly say that this is ugly and terrible and I hate it. Specifically this whole mess right here. Gross. I'll tell you what I was trying to do though, because it works on this side and this side. So if we look at this beautiful, beautiful indent right here, what I've done is take 2 half foundations and shove them together, basically make them into one, but not really. We have this full foundation. So this wall is a full foundation. The half foundations basically make it a 4/5 of a foundation. So I have this nice indent, this nice depth in the wall, and so when light hits it, it makes these interesting shadows. I really like that. This, I think I did very well. Trying to copy it to this side looks absolutely terrible. I hate it oh so much. And then this bit right here, I love again. But on this end bit, I wanted to keep this as a wall. So what I did is I smashed concrete pillars together and then kind of made this half... I'm not going to call it windows, and I'm not going to call them pillars, but I made this wall with gaps, basically. And from the outside, let's hope I don't fall to my death, it looks pretty good. No, I need to set electricity out here a little bit more, because I have, yeah. I like viewing things from the outside, and I can't do it because I can't go out too far. This wall bit follows this indented foundation all the way around, and it'll do it on the other side, and it continues this theme through this bottom floor. My original idea was to make this bottom section be like the foundation, and then from now on we have windows and whatnot and gaps, but it didn't look right. Originally these were going to be windows, and it felt like the building was just too flimsy to be this tall. So now what I'm doing is making this whole bottom floor be kind of the foundation of this building, and then these top 3-ish layers are going to be the windowed bits, the bits that look thinner, the bits that look like they are properly supported. Anyways, I was messing around trying stuff out. I don't like this. I wanted you to see me mess up because that never happens. I am truly a genius of everything, and I do everything perfect the first time, clearly. This is significantly better. Not perfect. I think I still want to change a few things. I'm not sure what. I'll figure it out as I go. But this is a whole lot better. It kind of brings this bottom layer up to actually make this feel like a full foundationed bit. Not foundation, make this bottom foundation bit feel like it is part of the rest of this first floor. And I have started to add glass up here, and oh yes, it looks oh so nice with this properly being in. If this was windowed down here, it would look wrong. If this was also windowed, it just wouldn't look right in my head, but this does. This makes me happy. Of course, more angles are added. This does not hook up to anything. I don't really have it. I'm not trying to make it part of the rest of this very clear foundation bit. I added angles. It looks nice. It's good enough in my head. I might tweak it later, but for now, beautiful. If we head up top to these windows, they are just blueprints, as you can see. It is a single window, and I'm going to be doing them on the curve as well. Basically like this. I think it'll look nice. Yes, it is a little plain. I'm not doing too much detail. Again, this is a brutalist structure. We're just using a lot of concrete, baby. That's basically it. Lots of concrete and 2 colors. We're gonna wrap it all the way around, probably do it for the second floor too, and then that top floor, I don't know yet, but I might go back to ye good old pillars and shove them up here because, contrast? Composition? No. Linking the art together? I don't know, man. I can't think about this as art anymore. I just have to think about it as what if I shoved concrete places and hoped it looked good. And that's what I've been doing. And so far, I've done an okay job. I have now realized I have a jetpack, so if we just yeet myself up here, we'll get a better angle of everything. Wow, I suck at speaking English. Anyways, beautiful, beautiful things have happened. Look at it. It's nice and pretty, and I'm going to fall to my death now. Give me back. Ah, no, I missed it. Okay. But as you can see, I did decide to put the pillars up here because linking something or other, blah, blah, blah. I added this big bit because it matches that one and, you know, structural sense, whatever. The windows going all the way around, I think look like good enough. I am not willing to change them, and I don't know what I could do in this area to make it look better. But if we look at it from the front, the windows look pretty good. And if we, oh, I'm gonna die from this. Wait, water, save me. If we look at it from the side, it looks pretty good again. And from down here, this view, I mean, it just makes me happy. It's a little unsupported underneath, but I set out to make a weird ovular-shaped building that has a lot of concrete and is brutalistic-ish. It took me 4 tries to say that, but I do think I have these two very distinct sides. We have the bottom foundation bit right there, which has the pillars that link the top and the bottom. We have the middle window section, and the air gaps linked together nicely in my head. Oh, they look beautiful. I just had to watch the last clip because it's been like 3 months since I was last at this project, and I have to say, even though it sounded like I was pretty happy, I was very like unsure about this build. 3 months later, I'm still unsure about this build. I would, however, like to say, the inside, nothing's been done. So that's what we're gonna start with. Now, I just did the Christmas, like, stuff. It's sitting over here or whatever. I didn't ever end up doing the Wonder Star, and I said I would do a Wonder Star factory, and I just really don't want to. So that's why I'm back over here doing this. But what I just did was use some of the Christmas stuff to make some interesting little blueprints. If we open one of these bad boys up, I have a funky little idea. See, Christmas added these beautiful things right here, the Pixmas snow dispensers. Now, logically speaking, adding snow to a turbo motor factory makes 0 sense, but it would be kind of funny. So we're gonna do it. And I do think it would look quite beautiful in here, especially over these things that spew smoke out of them to have snow coming down because, like, I don't know. Let's say the factory's just adding water to cool down the place. I don't care what you think. We're putting snow on top of these things, okay? I had to run back over here because I ran out of actual snow to make these blueprints. As you see, I have 600 now because I've been letting it run for a minute, but I had and 0 and was only making like 10 a minute, so that's not very good. I leave yesterday. I leave and I come back and I'm like, oh yes, I can't wait. I get to keep building and I get to have fun with snow. And you want to know what happens? It's the 18th. The Fixmas gift trees stopped working. Why? I forgot. I forgot that Fixmas gift trees stop working once the Fixmas event is over. And so only the things that I have built up stayed. This is so annoying. Satisfactory, why do you hate me? Just let me make snow year-round. I want to throw it at people. Oh well, I guess I don't get particles above most of my factories. Now granted, at least among the things that spew smoke out of them, I got the particles before I ran out. These machines don't have them, and none of the other machines will, but all these ones, the foundries and the smelters, will have little snow droplets coming down above them. And oh, it makes me so happy. Look how beautiful it is. It's so pretty. I really like this snow. I hate Christmas, but I really like the snow. Anyways, I have to now figure out how to light this circle. As you can see from like the other things, I've kind of indented these lights a little bit. They're kind of like a foundation and a half up into the ceiling because, you know, brutalism or some garbage like that. But doing that on a curve is so goddamn hard. So what do I do here? Like, do I just do a lights all the way around? Do I put like foundations in the... I don't know what to do. But I will mess around, and I will find out. I'm about to sneeze. I think we're good. Okay, don't look at it too hard. There are these, gaps, but if you ignore that, the circle looks pretty good. I just circle lighted the whole thing. I honestly could care less about the gaps. I'll come into this building once it's finished for like the rest of my entire life, so I cannot care enough to spend an hour trying to figure this out. But circle, it is all lit up, all very beautiful, all very pretty. Now we get to move on to the other floors. And now we have 2 more floors done. I haven't done the manufacturers yet, I'll do them later, but these constructors and the assemblers all now have their little dents. Now, a funny thing about this blueprint is, considering the assembler isn't like a perfect you know, foundation box thing, because the world hates me, it means that these little lights right here, when you use the blueprint, they have this little gap. And, I'm not going to fix every single assembler light. So you all have that knowledge now. Get wrecked, nerds. We're gonna move on to something else. Okay, never mind. I did want to do the manufacturers just to see how it would look, and oh my god, the large lights. They're beautifully putting all of their wonderful lights down on the manufacturers. It looks wonderful. I love it. Now we'll actually go do something else. That's something else being resources and the inside. I'm doing pathways. They're very, very simple. Literally, I just took the gray color that I made, shoved it on the floor, and then put these walls and said, ah, good enough. And then I also have done these hypertubes now. If we look at them, they go, this one goes down to the train station. It shows out here. This train station is a fun little one. So I changed how my trains would work, and you'll get a much better look at this once we go over here. But basically, my cooling systems now go to a second train station, get dropped off. From that train station, the second one, come through here with bauxite. And then this train station with the bauxite and cooling systems takes the turbo motors up to my storage area, which is sitting up here. And if one more person tells me central storage system is stupid, I'm going to stab you in the guts. But what I need to do now is get quartz, oil, water, and bring it all up into this building. I just did the iron and copper that was sitting here. As you can see, I kind of just shoved it right there. And I don't think I've shown this yet. Granted, it's been 3 months, so who knows if I showed this 3 months ago. I could look at the footage, but I'm not gonna. I have this nice little awesome sink sitting out front, kind of like this centerpiece, because it's beautiful. And I do need to sink some petroleum coke. So, for like 8 petroleum coke, I have a whole awesome sink sitting out front displayed beautifully. It's kind of funny. Okay, I'm bringing the oil over from over here to the big thing. Gotta say, first of all, haven't looked at it from this view in a while. Still like it pretty much. I do think I need to add some supports like at the bottom for the pillars, because they kind of just like merge up into it, and I think it needs to be, the concrete needs to be integrated a little bit better than just sitting on top of rock. You know, I think on this side it works because you get to see the pillar go up, but this side it just looks a little wrong. Anyways, here is an 30-second tutorial on how to build a very bad concrete bridge like me, Sir Crab. First, take your bridge, straight line across to where you need to go, and then find your middle point, right here. In middle point, large pillar into floor. From middle point, add and support on both sides. Not a good looking support, because I didn't say I was making a good looking concrete bridge, I just said it was a concrete bridge. So, and bad looking supports. Make sure train can fit underneath, if have train line, otherwise clipping, not very good. Then, take and half foundations, shove into pillar quite hard, zoop-de-zoop down, do for rest. Then you have little bit of indent and depth and texture in bridge, and now not look terrible. And of course, like, put the thing that you want to put on top of the bridge across, because it's a bridge, it's supposed to have stuff on top of it, duh. And there we go, a pretty terrible concrete bridge built by moi, Sir Crab. Anyways, now for the rest of the resources. First, we grab lay quartz, shove it along through here, along the train track, and then we take it from over there, and then build it up to there. I love just running across belt lines because it's so fun, but now we do actually have to like run it across here. I do like putting belts on the side of train tracks. I think adding moving trains along with moving items just looks beautiful, and it adds a little bit of something that isn't white or black to my white and black color scheme of train tracks, this being pink. Adding pink to the side is quite funny. I know, we're at a train tracks now. Weird, but this does have to do with the rest of the build, I promise. So, earlier I said cooling systems and bauxite were coming on a train over to the factory, the turbo motor factory, which is over there. Well, that transfer happens right here. This train right here is the cooling system train that takes bauxite way over to my cooling systems over here and picks up cooling systems and fused modular frames to bring up to my storage unit. The cart on the very back has the extra cooling systems that are going to my turbo motor factory. Now, having this train go around to here, up to the storage system, over to turbo motors, and then back around to cooling is or background to the bauxite, sorry, is a very stupid, dumb, and long-winded idea because it'll never have bauxite, considering it needs to take bauxite to cooling systems, one side of the map, and turbo motors, literally opposite side of the map. So we're doing a train transfer. The problem is I have to take this train and turn it around to actually, you know, go. Now, what I could do is just shove a belt in the, not a belt, a train track in the middle, make a big curve and kind of shove it into there, but then it would be going across train lines. And while I do that in some areas, as proven by this right here, I'm trying to do that a lot less, which is where this comes around, a turnaround spot. This whole world for me is an exercise in new things. I've never done a train system before, and so I'm learning as I go. So for the people who have done train systems, this may be an obvious thing, but for me, it's like a, wow, I didn't even think about that. What we're gonna do is where this train line usually cuts across traffic is we're going to have it kind of go down through here, and then it can go underneath the train line and back up. And along with that, we're gonna have a turnaround bit that can go to this train station. The reason being, this train right here has 2 total stops. This one, well, I guess 3 total stops. This one, our turbo motors and our storage area. So having this turnaround bit right here, which is extremely close, just makes sense, and I don't have to worry about causing traffic in this line right here. So come along with me as I design and try and make this not look like absolute garbage. Let's have some fun. Oh my god, I love train tracks when they curve nicely. This is just beautiful, but as you can see, it looks fantastic with the trains actually in and the signs, not the signs, the path signals and the block signals. So, you know, goes around, goes down and back up for the U-turn, and goes around and goes up for the big Batman cave computer factory. Anyone who hasn't seen this video will have zero idea why I'm calling it a Batman cave, but inside, it's extremely goddamn dark. Now I'm just gonna add all of the painted beams to the outside, and then we'll actually start messing with this train station right here and making it work. And would you look at that? It fits the style of the train tracks quite nicely, and we bring it around to this train station, and this all fits in as well. Funnily enough, I have one belt for the bauxite going above the train tracks, and the belt for the cooling systems going below the train tracks. I don't know why I decided to do both. I could have just done 2 belts on top or 2 belts on bottom, but whatever. And I think this little area fits nicely. I like it. It makes me happy, and this whole section just looks better and works better and functions better, and we can now move on to the rest of the things I have to do. Never doing train lines was a terrible idea. This world looks hilarious. Not in like the bad way, it just looks pretty cool. In my next world, whenever that ends up happening, I'm definitely doing large train lines again. This is awesome. Or I could do only belts and just hate myself. That's also an option. And things are now officially turning on. The rubber has been turned on, the petroleum is, the copper and iron and steel, quartz crystals, iron plates, and steel pipes. Well, iron plates and steel pipes still need to be hooked up, but they will be on soon, which is nice. This place is now running. Well, it's starting to run. I'm doing the new thing that I like to do, which everybody should do. I used to build factories and build the whole thing, hook everything up, and then turn everything on, then connect resources. Terrible idea. Don't do that. Build nice overflows, because then things don't take forever to start. I turn this whole layer on, so then when I get up here, I already have an abundance of resources ready to go. As you can see, I have the belts going up and down a little bit. I do not have nearly as many as I will have because, well, not too much has started. This main line right here is for the turbo motors. I need to build another one on this side and right here, which will be for the cooling systems to go up. These turbo motors are going down to the train station. And these hyper tubes, as you can see, are hooked up and going in between each floor, which is beautiful. Oh, and everything looks better and better every single time I add more and more stuff. Funny thing, the only thing in production I've messed up so far is iron. I only need 50 iron for my 33.33 iron plates. I was taking into account how much iron I would need for my steel, even though this is raw iron. I do not actually need these ingots. So instead of tearing it down, I like what it looks like. I've already hooked it up. So I am just sinking the extra iron. I am making like 120 extra iron, but like, whatever. This place looks and beautiful while things are moving and grooving. I was just getting my water from my aluminum solution, and I didn't realize there was a geyser right here. So this little section actually looks pretty nice. If we head on down here, as you can see, resources are now all being belted up. This amalgamation, that one word that means lots of stuff put together, all these angles of things is quite interesting. I kind of just have to shove stuff in and say, it'll be fine. But it looks decent enough for me, so I am happy. And now I officially have a hypertube down here, so when the train station comes, if I am taking the train, I can now go up through here and into the factory. Which, this first floor is finished, and this second floor is almost done. I need to do these 2 assemblers and, of course, take all these resources, you know, up to the 3rd floor. But over here, if we look, the aluminum production is now on. We are now making aluminum casings. These will go up to make our... Ignore the pipe work. You never saw that. These will head up to make our radio control units for our turbo motors. Now, this floor's. Oh, and of course, me being me, I have shoved belts in the middle of walls because duh, why not? Okay, and belts have now been and-inned. I've been watching way too much Top Gear, and Jeremy Clarkson saying "and" is my favorite thing in the world. I think I showed this, but casings are done. I have all this stuff in. This is the 2nd floor. Everything is now hooked up, and we also have almost... well, not the reinforced iron plates, but almost all the stuff going up to the 3rd floor up here. This being, well, the 3rd floor with all the assemblers. So I'm now going to bring all of the resources into here, and I guess not all of them, because like half of them need to go up here for the crystal oscillators. Yeah. Half of them need to be going up here for crystal oscillators, and then also casings for control units. I guess circuit boards are assemblers, so they're coming from the 3rd floor. But everything's gonna have a great time in Belterland. I don't know why this undid itself. Go back up. You go there. Actually, you should be a Mark III built. There we go. So yeah, I have belts on the walls as stated. And I do like how I'm doing this. I do like the fact that the belts are on the walls. I do also like that in some areas they kind of like act as a wall or a barrier for the hypertube section, just so I have a little bit of something. I also don't know how I feel about this gap right now. I don't have anything in these walls right here. I think I'm going to put a floor to like properly separate each floor, but I might not. I might leave it as like this big open area that follows this center pillar all the way up for at least the hypertubes. But now I'm gonna hook up this full floor and then also probably hook up the manufacturers. And hopefully I will not have messed anything up and turbo motors will come out into the train station and up to the storage unit, up to that little area, oh, way over there where all my train stations are for the storage system, oh so very soon. Also, considering that this manufacturer floor isn't in line with the hypertube pillar, we have to have this janky hypertube right here, which is fun, and I get a nice view of hell itself being nothingness. Going through walls with hypertubes with global illumination on is always fun because like you have no idea where you are. Also, I have to admire the models in this game more often because these things are just beautiful. Cooling systems like are one of my favorite models. I think they just have so many fun geometric shapes coming out of them. Turbo motors are also cool though. But I like cars, so turbo motors will always be the best. Anyways, I should probably like do more belts. I have to say the most interesting thing about building in these tight spaces is how I have to deal with belts. We'll look at that in a minute. I now am officially making turbo motors whenever rubber decides to load itself into this goddamn manufacturer. But as you can see, all the things are being produced. All the things are gonna make turbo motors be produced soon. In a trillion years. This is how I've been doing belts. I know you might look at this and say, huh, you should go die. This is terrible. Why would you do this? And my answer to you is, because it's funny. On the outside, everything actually looks nice. We have these nice, neat layers, or not layers, but nice, neat upsies and downsies, and they're all put in very special places. And then you look underneath the floor and you say, huh, why is rubber right next to each other? Don't question it. But the under bit of all of my builds always look like utter garbage. The whole point is you can't see that, so it doesn't actually exist. Because that's how some scientific thingy worked, I think. Shut up, I know nothing about anything. But now we can just cover it up and we can be like, boom, look at that. I'm the best. See, everything is pretty. I mean, that officially means that we have turbo motors. See, it's going. It's beautiful. And now this will be the first turbo motor to make it all the way down to that train station, which I don't actually have set going up to this area yet. We'll look at that in a minute. Everything is running, everything is moving, but everything's running. The nice part about having overflows, as stated before, is all of this, I don't have to wait. The turbo motors just immediately start going because all this is sitting here waiting to be put into machine. Oh, and it's so beautiful. I do need to fill in a few of the gaps though. There's still bits here and there, but everything looks nice. Oh yay, we're up at my train hub where everything's moving and will crash into me. This will be fantastic. I need to figure out where to put this train because delivering it... Actually, I have a brilliant idea. Hold up, I need to head somewhere. So down where I have my cooling systems transferring to this train, I could just transfer the turbo motors from this train to the cooling system and fuse modular frames that end up being delivered up here, and then I won't have to bring this train up here. My brain is actually huge. Why didn't I think of it? Also, I have to say, this is my favorite kind of factory, where it's open and you see everything and trains are moving. I do like building enclosed factories, and I love experimenting because I find enclosed factories extremely hard for me to build. Doing interiors is one of the most difficult things for me. Exteriors, not as much, but they don't look as good. Ignore the Christmas area. It doesn't exist. Shh. But that open and beautiful space, I love so much. Okay, I have an problem. I didn't set up... Well, first of all, I crashed this train, destroyed it, put it the wrong way. So I had to delete it and re-put it in. But this right here is the train station. Get bauxite, get cooling systems. We need a third train to undo turbo motors to put it into the third train station, which is right here, to then add it to the cooling systems and something else. So we're just gonna plop this in. We're gonna load. Perfect. Train's working again. It should be. Nothing broke. Good. And then I'm going to delete this real quick and put a third train station in so I can get everything set up. Okay, and now the train's going in here, and I just shoved the turbo motors that it did have, but turbo motors go up and then over into this train area, which I just added, which will load the turbo motors into the cooling and fuse modular frames, which is this car for that said train. And while unloading coolings to take into this one, which is put right here, to then take up to the turbo motor factory. Now everything should work. I do need to go up to the storage system and actually put in a smart splitter that has turbo motors. Hey, can I catch this train? Thank you. I'm just gonna stand here. Nothing bad could happen. But technically speaking, we are done. I am making turbo motors and they are going up to the storage system. So, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I know you probably have zero clue how to make a turbo motor, like at all, but that's okay. You did learn how to say concrete in 4 different ways, incorrectly all of them. Do gotta say, it looks pretty good on the horizon, just a big glass concrete building. Now there's a rock. I hope you all enjoyed today's video. I will see you all next time, and goodbye.